In April 2025, a shooter opened fire at Florida State University, killing 2 people and wounding 6 others. 1 year later, Florida Attorney General James Uthmeier announced a criminal investigation into OpenAI. He told reporters that if the chatbot on the other side of the screen were a person, his office would be charging them with murder. Records show the shooter exchanged over 200 messages with ChatGPT in the run-up to the attack. He asked the system about the lethality of specific shotgun shells, campus foot traffic, and whether 3 victims would be enough to generate national media attention. This marks a break from the standard civil litigation. While civil cases treat AI harm as a manufacturing defect solved by settlements, a criminal probe treats the deployment of these tools as a matter of depraved indifference. Civil subpoenas target the corporation. Criminal subpoenas target the individuals on the organizational chart. The state is now legally demanding the names of every employee who worked on the model. Florida has moved past corporate settlements and into the territory of prison math. Executives are now forced to weigh their personal freedom against their product timelines. The psychiatric community is signaling a similar shift away from trusting tech industry self-regulation. The chair of the DSM-4 task force recently stated that legal battles against these companies are the only path toward a responsible industry. In the courtroom, the industry defense is already taking shape. Tech companies will argue that maladaptive chatbot use is merely a symptom of a user's pre-existing mental illness, rather than the cause of it. Plaintiffs are countering that this behavior is a deliberate design choice. They argue the systems are intentionally marketed as pseudotherapists to foster a deep psychological dependency. Courts are now tasked with determining the nature of these models. They must decide if an AI is a passive mirror reflecting a user's illness or an active architectural catalyst for it. This chart shows HealthBench, an internal metric OpenAI built with hundreds of physicians to grade how its models handle health-related conversations. 2 subscores define the model's priorities. The professional score measures utility for a practicing clinician. The consensus score measures the basic safety required when a user is in a crisis. With the release of GPT 5.5, the data showed a clear preference. The professional score for enterprise customers jumped 3.7 points. The metric for basic crisis safety showed the opposite trend. That score actually dropped by 0.7 points. The model became more useful for the doctor, while becoming no safer for the vulnerable teenager. This reveals an architecture that follows enterprise revenue. Without external pressure, the safety floor for users in crisis continues to drop. The real-world consequences of a failing safety floor are already documented. In February 2026, a 17-year-old killed 8 people in Tumbler Ridge, British Columbia. 6 of them were children. OpenAI staff had flagged the shooter's violent ideation months earlier and banned her account. However, leadership decided the threat was below their internal threshold and chose not to alert authorities. Following the tragedy, Canada's AI minister summoned OpenAI to Ottawa. He successfully negotiated a level of oversight that no American regulator has achieved. The deal embeds government mental health experts directly inside the AI Safety Office. It also mandates independent audits and requires the company to report threats directly to national police. Canada forced transparency onto a frontier lab, but that oversight was only extracted after 8 people were killed. In Florida, the legislature is returning for a special session to pass a strict AI Bill of Rights, fueled by the momentum of the criminal investigation. The bill targets the pseudotherapist design by banning AI from pretending to provide licensed mental health counseling. It introduces an enforcement mechanism that mandates parental controls for minors, including direct alerts for concerning behavior and heavy financial penalties for violations. Effective safety now relies on benchmark transparency. This means requiring companies to publish crisis response scores before any new model is deployed to the public. Criminal exposure forces these labs to move beyond corporate optics and into fundamental redesign. This shift ensures that as these systems evolve, the architecture of the model finally protects the human on the other side of the screen.